Hi guys, welcome to the channel Humble India. Today we are going to deal about United Nations, and it's me Vipin Ghosh presenting you to United Nations. So first of all we will be looking onto the background of United Nations. So United Nations came into existence after World War II in San Francisco with a conference called San Francisco Conference. So it can be termed as a successor of League of Nations. League of Nations is nothing but it is an organization same as United Nations which came into existence after World War I. As it was not successful as thought by the world leaders, then came in the existence of United Nations after the World War II. So United Nations came into existence in 1945. So as you can see in the presentation, there were 51 members during the start of United Nations, but as of now there are 193 members because in the 1980s there happened a decolonization. In that decolonization, many countries became independent, and those countries joined the United Nations. As the name itself suggests, it's an intergovernmental organization. That means many governments, just like India, Pakistan, Brazil, US, different types of governments come together for the international peace and security. So that is the purpose of United Nations, and it is headquartered in New York. Now coming into the organs of United Nations system. It had totally of 6 organs, but as of now there are only 5 organs, which means that a trusteeship council, there was an organ named as trusteeship council. As I had already mentioned, in the decolonization, some of the nations doesn't become independent nations and they were termed as trustees. So these trustees are being carried out under trusteeship council. They have been looked after by trusteeship council. So after all the trustees become independent nations, this trusteeship council is of no use. So what happened was, this trusteeship council as an organ in United Nations got dissolved. Then the left 5 organs of United Nations are General Assembly, Security Council, Economic and Social Council, International Court of Justice, and UN Secretariat. Now coming on to the each organ in a brief manner, that is, first we will go to the UN General Assembly. So UN General Assembly is nothing but it will be totally looking after the UN, just like if the admission of new members and what is happening in United Nations as a total. These jobs are being carried out by United Nations General Assembly. So it elects a non-permanent members in United Nations General Assembly, and also it elects all the members of Economic and Social Council, because in Economic and Social Council there are a total of 54 members, and these 54 members are being elected by United Nations General Assembly. And these election of non-permanent members, as I had mentioned, in United Nations Security Council there are permanent members and non-permanent members. These non-permanent members are being elected by United Nations General Assembly with the consent of United Nations Security Council. Then coming to the voting of United Nations General Assembly, there is one vote for every single member. Then coming the president, only one president and 21 vice president is there in the United Nations General Assembly. Then coming on to the UN Secretariat. UN Secretariat is nothing but it is an administrative organ. So in this administrative organ, it is headed by United Nations Secretary General, appointed by General Assembly after the recommendation of Security Council. So this term of Secretary General is of 5 years without any specific rule of the term, just like as it is not of 3 years or 2 years or something. There is no specific rule for this 5 years term. This is the General Assembly as in the first image, and second image there you can see the Secretariat. Now coming on to the third organ, that is International Court of Justice. You might have heard a lot about International Court of Justice in the newspapers, etc. As now there is a case going on between India and Pakistan. There is Kulbhushan Jadhav case. So this is the main objective of International Court of Justice. That is, it adjudicate cases between states. That means India is a state and Pakistan is another state. So we cannot force Pakistan to do something with our courts or something. So there is need of international court. So International Court of Justice come into rule over there. And what happened is that they will decide what is happening. As you can see in the Kulbhushan Jadhav case itself, they had given their verdict out. So when it comes to the structure of International Court of Justice, there are 15 judges for a 9-year term selected by General Assembly. Deal about Economic and Social Council. So Economic and Social Council is nothing but you know that as General Assembly is promoting some kind of economic and social cooperation between nations. So what happened is that this Economic and Social Council will assist the General Assembly to do whatever they are doing. That is the main role of Economic and Social Council. As I had already mentioned, it is having 54 members and 3-year term. Now coming into the next, that is United Nations Security Council. It is the most important organ of United Nations. It consists of 15 members, 5 permanent members and 10 non-permanent members. These 5 permanent members are United States, Russia, China, France and UK. These are the 5 members of 5 permanent members of United Nations Security Council. And then comes the 10 non-permanent members. These non-permanent members are used to shift their seats with a period of 2 years. Okay. And another important point comes to the United Nations Security Council is that it is the only body which can issue binding resolutions on member states. That is the main point of UNSC, and its objectives, as it's obvious, it is international security and peacekeeping. And all the members in this UNSC is having a specific vote, I mean a single vote. So if at all a resolution has to be passed from UNSC, it requires 9 votes, and at the same time there should not be any veto vote. Veto power is something like if at all a member is abstaining from voting, that decision cannot be passed by the UNSC. That is simple, in simple terms, veto power, and it is headquartered in New York. So this is United Nations Security Council symbol and logo, and this is the 5 permanent and non-permanent members. So there are something called as specialized agencies of United Nations. These are autonomous organizations which work with UN. That means they are not under UN, they are autonomous organizations which can only work with UN. So these are the specialized agents are being mentioned here: Food and Agriculture Organization, etc. And this is the pictorial representation of those organs. Now coming another 2 important facts when it comes to United Nations. There are 6 official language for United Nations. Pardon me with the spelling of French. That is Arabic, Chinese, French, Russian, English and Spanish. Then coming to the next fact, that is, if at all UN is working in any country, those countries' law, I mean UN is immune from those countries' law. That means if at all UN is working here, the law of India doesn't apply for UN. That is it. Now coming to the relation between India and United Nations. India is gonna be a member of United Nations Security Council. That means it is being elected for the non-permanent seat of 2021-2022. And Vijay Lakshmi Pandit was the first women president of United Nations General Assembly. And India is also a member of G4 nation. G4 nation is nothing but they are being competing between themselves, or they are trying to get the permanent seat within the UN. That is the 4 nations which are trying to get a permanent membership in UN. India is one among that member. Then coming to the permanent member, why India need a permanent membership in UNSC? Because India is the largest democracy and second largest population, 7th largest economy when it comes to in the perspective of GDP, 3rd largest economy in consideration of the PPP, purchasing power parity. Then most important point is that UN is conducting many peacekeeping operations around the world. So India is the largest contributor of troops into this peacekeeping mission. So India is eligible, or not eligible, but India is, what to say, there is nothing like a eligibility condition to become an UNSC, but India can ask for permanent membership having these qualities. Okay, that's it from me guys. So this is my first video on YouTube. If you like this video, please like, share and comment on this video, and of course subscribe my channel. Please subscribe the channel and please press the bell button right after that. Thank you for watching. Thank you.